care if you paid. Get out.
I'm not
That's
leaving,
how that
bro.
works.
I paid. I'm not leaving.
No.
I'm not
if
leaving.
you cause a ruckus in the classroom,
I'm not leaving.
Everyone loves to talk about themselves.
Loves
And you know what they love even more? When someone's listening to them talk about themselves.
100%.
Oh, you're going to make some girl so happy one day.
Yeah,
you're such a great
and
guy.
You know what's Yo, bro, they'll tell him that. They'll tell him that. Yo, you're such a great guy. You're one of the good ones.
You're one of the good ones.
But
yeah.
you ain't trying to.
Yeah,
you ain't trying to.
you ain't trying to slide it.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the NOA podcast. Speaking as your co-host Tyler, I'm here. My man is Trey. I want to start off just by saying thank y'all. We appreciate you guys continuing to tune in week and week out. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe under this video if you're watching this on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you're on there too. We do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Can you do that on Spotify?
Yeah, you can leave a comment and stuff. I'm not sure if you could like, but I know you could like follow a channel. You could also.
Didn't know. Stopped using it a while back. So.
Yeah, that's true. Now, with it being on YouTube, it's a little different.
Yeah, that is true.
Facts. But let's get into it today. So today we are reacting, at least in the beginning, we are reacting to a video from Andrew Schultz. I'll see if I can put it in the video.
Yeah,
if not, y'all just gonna have to hear the audio. I'm still learning this whole like video. So please be patient with me. But we're gonna react to this video and then essentially just talk about what we think. So.
All right, fair enough. That's the comedian dude, right?
Yeah.
Women's greatest fear is being alone, not being with the wrong person. And our greatest fear is being with the wrong person. Like, I didn't meet my wife until late for the same reason. I was like, I don't want to settle. I don't want to be with somebody. You know, like, I figured out more or less how to, like, date. I figured out, like, kind of, like, what that person wanted. And I can kind of, like, be that version of that. But it didn't make me happy. But the tricky thing is that women, because they're so afraid of being alone, I think a lot of them, they end up being with guys they don't really like. And that's what I think this, like, ick red flag culture is. Have you heard of women on the internet talking about their icks and their red flags? Mm-hmm. When you're with someone you don't like, everything about them is irritating. You just hate the guy you're with, but you're terrified of being alone.
So Trey,
I think he made some good points.
so do you agree with what he said?
Yeah, I think I have to say I think he made some good points. A big fear of mine as a man is choosing the wrong woman. You know,
I ain't gonna lie, that's a huge fear of mine too.
Especially
bro.
as young men now, you hear stories about.
I hear a lot of horror stories.
Frankly, the older guys, they tell us, you know,
Careful who you sleep with.
one, be careful who you sleep with. Horror stories about dudes thinking like their kids is theirs, only to find out like when they're 70, later in life, homie has no chance to even have like kids ever again.
Not at all.
Not his, you know. Other situations where like women lie on you, get you in the case, or just it's tough. It really is tough. So from the male perspective, like it really is true. Like we worry. Like you want to make sure the choice you make, especially if you're the type of guy who believes in just doing it the one time. Like I just want to.
Like if you try to be a family man, then 100%.
Yeah. He's like, bro.
Bro.
I tell me and Tyler talk about it. And I've told Chad before, like the decision us as young men make to choose whatever woman that we choose for the rest of our life is like a life-changing decision that we cannot take lightly. Like we can't
100%.
Because whatever woman that is, she's gonna either build you, help to make you a better man,
Or destroy
or
you.
absolutely destroy you and like kill you. Frankly, you end up ruining your reputation, ruining just your lifestyle, everything about it. So, I would say I agree. I have also seen women, man. They puzzles me sometimes.
It makes
I
no
know.
sense,
I have
bro.
a couple. I have
It
a
makes
couple
no
girlfriends
sense.
right now who are in relationships with guys that.
Yep.
They know aren't good for them. Yeah. I know ain't good for everyone. Everyone who's around them knows not good for them. But they're so terrified of being by themselves, they can't handle being alone. They essentially have to just like stay and like put up with what they have to put up with.
You ever had a girl tell you that she knows she's not good for her?
Yeah.
And yet she still stay with him, bro?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think you articulated yourself very well. It's hard because I pretty much agree with everything you said. Like it's and I think Andrew Schultz did a pretty good job of explaining it too.
Yeah,
I think men are very scared to pick the wrong woman, and we're actually fine just like being alone.
We're built for it.
Yeah, like
we're more so built for being by ourselves.
Yeah,
you know?
Because just like you were saying, man. I mean, like you pick the wrong woman. and let's say you have kids with her, you got to be with her for 19 years. Not saying you got to necessarily be with her like that, but she's still in your life.
Those kids attach you.
Especially if you're doing joint custody, you got to see her.
If you're dealing with the kids, you're going to deal with her.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
It's inevitable. Yeah. You're tied at the hip for the rest of your life, but at least minimum 18 years. Because after that, it's kind of like, the kid is an adult. He could do his own thing.
Probably do his own thing at that point, so y'all could separate and go about your own ways.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very nerve-wracking. And a lot of the times, like, I could just speak for me personally. Based off of, like, the current dating market and some of the experiences I had with women, there are times where I'm just like, yo, maybe I'll just be single, bro. Because I would rather be single and be dolo than to be miserable with the wrong women, bro.
That's true. Because I've been that before.
Yeah.
I've been miserable with the wrong girl.
I've been
with
the wrong shorty,
thinking that
bro.
you're supposed to. I remember at one point in my life, I did genuinely believe, this was much younger, I believed in the whole happy wife, happy life thing, wherein if they're happy and you're miserable, that's okay.
Bro, that's fake.
They were fake? Of course they were fake!
Yeah, I learned real quick that's not how that works at all, man. That's not how that works one bit. You know, and it was a real wake up call. I learned that. And I would encourage anybody else out. It's not real.
Nah.
Both happiness has got to be.
You know, you believe it's real until you get a girl. And then once you get a girl and you really see how it is, you really see the dynamics of it, you realize like, oh, okay, like half of this stuff that I felt like we learned growing up isn't real,
bro. I remember sitting in my college dorm thinking to myself, yo, is this how I should feel? Like, is this like...
This is what it's like to be in a relationship?
Is this it right now? Like, because I don't know sometimes. I'm like, God, yo, am I making the right decisions? And thankfully, you know, homie helped me out. But like, bro.
Yeah. And then, of course, after that, having other experiences with women, you kind of realize like, oh, okay, maybe this is how I should be treated. Maybe this is how I should carry myself and some of the things I should do. Compared to what it was, I was in the same position as you.
Because those guys at the end of the day were long-term thinkers, you know? Yeah. So I'm thinking down the line, okay, kind of family I might want, kind of woman that I might want, where I want to live, those types of things. We make long-term decisions as men. At least most of us do. So because of that, you worry about the kind of girl you get, because at the end of the day, this is a decision that is going to be the rest of my life, hopefully.
100%.
Next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. You know, you always see those couples who they tell you the stories. They've been married for like 57 to 50 years.
My parents been married for 30 years.
That's a blessing. And unfortunately, in this world that we live in, that is becoming the minority these days, bro.
Yeah, it ain't the same. It's not really the same. Obviously, we still come across like older couples.
Of course.
Like, you know, I work with older couples who... Not older couples, but I work with older people who are in a relationship and they've been together for maybe not 30 years, but, you know, 15 plus, 20 plus years. You're absolutely right, though. It's not the norm anymore, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that I do believe is due to us being sexually free.
Yeah. Sexual liberation has...
Mm-hmm. It's normalized.
It's given... And I kind of feel this way about it. It's given men... A big reason why we got married in the past was in order to have sex. We weren't able to have sex unless we got married.
They weren't giving it up, so you got
now it's like, well, you can have sex before marriage. So for a lot of guys, it's just kind of like, yo, what's the point of marriage?
You can have sex.
I can have sex before marriage.
Have a baby.
I can have the baby before marriage.
You can move in with shorty.
The social like discipline or like outcasting that would have taken place had you gotten someone pregnant, that don't happen no more.
Nah.
Like, society don't look negatively on you, or if they do, it don't really matter at the end of the day. So it's kind of like,
I feel like
all the reasons for me to get married are no longer on the table. Why even do it?
I feel like typically now, people who are kind of like shamed for like having a kid out of wedlock is typically by like that person's family. It's not really societal, because a lot of people...
Back then, it was more societal.
Exactly.
Like that, you get shunned.
Exactly. You know? But now, because so many people are like single parents, society is almost like, okay, it's normal. Yeah, but I've noticed certain people, like their families have certain morals and codes that they like to hold on to.
They'll be more strict with it.
Yeah, like I've come across women, I've messed with women that were basically like, if I had a kid now, like my mom would like be devastated or my parents would be hurt But that's just due to her family. That had nothing to do with society, because if you had a kid with society, it's like, well, there's so many single moms out.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah, it's a normal thing.
There's a decent amount of single fathers out there too. It's normal.
It's very much a normal thing. And once you make it a normal thing, you're not really gonna. There's no stigma behind it.
Exactly.
There was a stigma behind it in the past about having
really.
kids at a younger age, or sleeping around with a whole bunch of women, sleeping around with a whole bunch of men. There's no stigma behind. Frankly, it's promoted in TV shows, movies. I remember reading an article, and it was like young people hate seeing like sexual scenes in films so much because, at least when we were kids coming up, they happened, but they weren't as prevalent. Now it just feels as though in the TV shows, it's more pushed on, as you were saying, this whole sexual liberation thing.
You know what I don't like?
They're willing to just show it.
I've seen a lot of like movies now, or I've probably seen these movies when I was younger, but it didn't really click because I was like a child. But I don't like now. There's a decent amount of like cheating in movies.
Yes.
Like there's a decent amount of like,
oh my gosh,
shorty
Tyler.
ain't happy with her man.
Oh my
so
gosh.
like and it's glorified,
Yes.
bro. They make you fall in love with her. They make you fall in love with the dude that she's cheating on the guy with. But if you really look at it, I'm like, yo, we're glorifying cheating. We're glorifying infidelity in a marriage. Like,
you bring up a great point. And I felt that I remember talking to you about this last year. I'm in college, for anybody who might not know, and we took a class. It was like
like a film class,
a
right?
film class, man.
Yeah. I know
And
what you talk about.
I think we might have watched 14 films, and out of those 14 films, 10 of them had the premise where shorty was cheating.
Wild.
And I'm like, yo, why is this? Why are we?
Like, this is distasteful.
It just didn't sit right with me that constantly I had to watch someone be unfaithful to someone else.
But it sells. It's the dramatic aspect. It's the excitement aspect. It's the aspect that someone might be caught and add suspense to the movie. But not saying that it's right. But that's why they do it.
But it sells. But it sells. And at the end of the day, you are what you feed your mind. And I believe if us as a society, we keep making stuff like this is just what other outcome can you expect?
Why you think so many people cheat on each other?
It's a sickness.
It's in our movies. It's in
sickness.
our TV shows. Some of the TV shows we love.
The whole show Cheaters. There's a whole show based on
that show,
Cheaters.
Bro.
Whole show based on it, bro.
My parents love that. I don't know.
I remember watching that when they came over to your house. Yeah.
Love that show, bro. I hate it, bro. I do not bang with. I walk into the kitchen, it's on TV.
It'll poison your mind if you watch that show enough. I don't think you could have like a real relationship with somebody and not think that something's gonna happen to you.
It's
and
hard.
Not think that you're out there doing
some
something.
of the stuff be slimy, be greasy, bro. People are foul.
Yeah,
people are foul,
and that goes both genders.
Yeah, like
we're not even saying that for
women.
We're not even saying that for just one. That's cheaters, men and women
cheaters
alike.
Highlights
both
men and women cheating.
Both of them
and
bad.
Regardless of who it is, every time I've watched the episode, because of course I've watched the episode.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No matter who did the cheating, I was like, yo, this is just.
Yeah, just like why?
Bruh, why? What? Just break up with them. If you ain't that, just break up with them. Just leave them.
I remember watching the YouTube version where they would essentially
Yo, I think I know what you're talking about. They set it up. Yo, my Barbie, not every time, but my Barbie be watching that. He be having that on TV. Like, we'll walk in, and it'll be like, there's cameras all around. They purposely put homie in there to like flirt with her and stuff, bro.
Hey, you know what's tough? Some of the questions like the dudes be asking them, like how you might feel about it. Yeah. You know, it was like, did she actually go through with it? All that. I'm like, yo, do you like? Why are we asking if homie smashed your girl right now?
Yeah, there also be times where it'll pans the person who's getting cheated on. Yo, they be
looking
hurt,
sick, bro. They be looking sick.
Yo, they'll come in the start of the episode, smile like, you know what? I think
she not gonna do nothing.
She ain't gonna do nothing.
He not gonna do nothing.
Hey, bro, mid episode, they're just
breakdown, crying.
Just
homie look like he lost $1 million.
Stress.
I mean, I can't blame him though.
I can't blame him.
I really can't. But
and I think it also hits harder when you watch the person you love cheat.
Yeah, because
it's different than finding a text than
and this
like
is
watching someone like kiss your girl.
And this is what makes lying tough, because it kind of like what the whole Jordan Peterson says, man.
It changes your reality.
It changes your reality. So whatever they were doing before, after they did that, and you watched it on camera, you saw them do it. It's like, yo, everything that you told me might be the lie. None of that could have been real.
You have
none of that could have been anything.
Idea.
And you don't know what was right or wrong, what was true or not. You don't know nothing, and that's what makes it just so, in my opinion, messed up about the whole thing.
It is so messed up, but it's the world we live in. It's the world we live in, man, which is unfortunate. But to kind of go back to the video a little bit, I do kind of just want to touch on this because I've had women tell me this. I've gone through I guess I've seen like my female friends gone through situations and stuff like that. But women really do be sticking around with a trash man just because they are scared to be alone.
Yeah.
And I think that's just absurd to do because, like, if you don't see yourself with somebody long term, if that's what you want, but if you want something long term and you don't see that, why are you staying with them?
Because women are social creatures. They got to have... We were, especially in regards to just like how cavemen were, we went out to hunt. So it was natural for us to go out for long periods of time and just be without our society. So we can kind of like be recluse in a way, not be a part of society and anything, and still survive.
That's fair.
Like we really only need so much, I guess, social stimulation as men to function.
That's fair.
Women, they need much more, and they need it from both genders, men and women. They can't just only get it from women after a while. They want male attention.
You know, that's fair, but I feel like majority of women, I mean, I know today's age is a little different, but I feel like a lot of women can get male attention.
That's true.
Anywhere,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? True. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I guess what I just don't understand, and it could just be the fact that they don't want to be alone. I mean, I don't.
Loneliness is a very big thing these days.
I think that's a stupid reason to stay with somebody just because you don't want to be alone. But fair enough. If that's your reasoning,
it's just fair, man.
Fair. And I know like women, I guess, don't care as much about respect as men do.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just say this: I have had some female friends go through some very, very, unfortunate relationships.
Yeah, really.
Very unfortunate events with the men that they're still in relationship with now, and still stay. And I'm like, yo, you have no respect for yourself. You have none. It shows because this dude disrespected you in a crazy way, and you choose to stay no matter what.
And it would go the same if it was a guy.
100%.
The same if it
you
was
know
a guy.
what's crazy? He knows you don't respect yourself because he did something crazy to you and you still chose to stay.
Stuck around.
So because he knows you don't respect yourself,
do it again.
he's still going to do it again.
Exactly. And it goes same thing for guys, man. If your girl cheats on you,
yeah,
and you stay with her,
she gonna do
whatever
it
she
again.
do to you, and you stay, and she gonna do it again because she's like, all right, well, he's okay with me doing these things, so I'm gonna continue to do these things.
Yep.
She's okay if I do these things. She's okay if I mess around on her. She's okay if I hit her. She's okay if I do these things. So I'm going to keep
100%.
going. Because you stick around. You sticking around is the confirmation they need.
So
if you left, that's all they... All right, well, I guess they don't want
That's
it.
why anything. You give someone an inch, you take a mile. If you allow disrespect...
You teach people how to treat you.
Exactly. If you allow disrespect, they're going to disrespect you.
Absolutely.
If you don't allow disrespect, you don't disrespect. And crazy enough, I've gone through this... Not necessarily, yeah, I feel like I've gone through this with women, but I've also just gone through this, like, just making friends.
Yeah, just with people.
There's some of the friends I have, like, I can call them something. I'm trying not to curse, so I ain't finna curse. Like, I can say something to them wild, and they won't say nothing to me. They'll just look at me and they'll just take it. And there are other friends that I know if I say that, they're going to check me. Because when we first met, I said something wild, and then they checked me. And then now I know, I'm like, oh, okay, this person demands respect. Okay, cool. But if you let them talk to you some type of way, if you let them treat you some type of way, that's just what it is. But I do believe that loneliness is what keeps women in relationships that aren't the best. Just because they're scared that, okay, well, if I leave him, I'm not going to have nobody for myself. I'm going to be lonely. At least he's a warm body that I could sleep next to. At least he's somebody that I could still text and talk to. But I don't know. I just think it's absurd, especially when someone either doesn't respect you or doesn't live up to your standards. To where you're just going to stay around just because, oh, okay, I have nobody else. So, like, I guess I'll just, like, stay and accept mediocrity or being disrespected.
I guess me personally, what I don't appreciate about that as well is when those women do choose to leave or when that guy chooses to leave, they then expect the person after them to be any better.
Yeah.
And it's like you accepted,
or like the morals and standards they had didn't apply to their ex, but they apply
to you all of a sudden. Like, but first of all, you will let them treat you any type of way.
Keep that same energy,
all
baby.
Of a sudden now you want to change it up because what, you found yourself? Nah, treat me. I would treat you the same way too.
Bruh.
Don't do any different. Don't do any different at that point.
Different, bro.
It's like, yo, that's just my pet peeve right there. It's just something I noticed. And both genders do it.
You know?
And I'm like, bro, listen, man, you don't deserve nothing better than what you had because that's just what you accepted.
There was a video of Shannon Sharp. It made me laugh. I find Shannon Sharp to be kind of funny.
He is a funny guy.
He was interviewing somebody. He was like, they were talking about relationships. And Shannon Sharp, he was like, you know what I don't like? He's like, in a relationship, I'm always the guy that women want to settle down with. So homie was able to get it in the back seat.
Facts.
But when I come around, all of a sudden, you want to wait
Facts.
3-4 months.
Bro.
He's like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, why did he get in the back seat? I'm trying to get the same treatment. I just found it to be so funny. But I think it's true. It kind of goes off what you were saying. It's like,
yeah, man.
with their ex, it could be one way.
All of a sudden, and even with some of the girlfriends I've spoken to, they themselves have told me with the next guy, he gonna treat you better. Oh, yes,
facts.
And I'm like, bro, hold up. The dude you with not treating you better right now. Why you staying with him? And you can't give me an answer.
Facts, bro. They be like, the next dude, he gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this.
He gotta work twice as hard.
Yo.
For less woman.
Yo, and I'm just sitting there, and sometimes don't get me wrong, I give my rebuttal to them. But sometimes I be tired of saying the same thing over and over. I
stopped after a while.
So I just be listening to them.
Because it's talking to they're not going to listen to you. Certain women aren't going to listen to you.
Nah.
Whether or not they family members, friends, even just they're not going to listen to you. They're going to do their own thing. So after a while, at least for me personally, what I learned, I stopped giving advice and just listening.
Yeah.
And they kind of talk. And they talk themselves into a circle. Sometimes I might point out a contradiction here or there. I'm like, wait, but that don't make sense. You said this earlier. Then they kind of backtrack a little bit. But overall, I mean, they're going to stick to their ways. They're not going to change. So,
nah, not at all. It's the world we live in.
But as a man, it's hard to sit here and look at a woman and try to pick up the pieces after your man did all that to you, knowing what I know, especially from my personal girlfriends and what they tell me, haven't gone through a situation like that. I know what the guy did to you. Facts. And then you expect me to treat you better.
Facts.
After the trauma that you done put yourself through, you know you're not supposed to go through it. And it goes for both sides. Guys do it too. But it's just like, yo, why put yourself through all that? Anyway.
Stupidity.
Next topic.
But anyway, yeah. Next topic. So this next topic, I'm not sure if y'all know this show. It is a very, very popular show. It's not on anymore. The name of the show is called How I Met Your Mother.
Go back to like early 2010s.
Yeah, How I Met Your Mother. I'm a huge fan of the show. Trey's a huge fan of the show. For those who don't really know, it's just essentially the main protagonist is Ted. He has a bunch of friends. And the whole show is basically just how he ended up meeting his wife. And he's like narrating it to like his kids. But it's a fantastic show. You guys should check it out. But today's hypothetical is, just like Ted in the shows, would you hang out with your ex consistently? So Ted Mosby is the main guy. His friend group was essentially made up, not all of his exes, but he was hanging out every day with his ex. They date, they broke up, yet they still hanging together, still in the same friend group, basically acting like nothing happened. Throughout the whole show, they're kind of like on and off, yada, yada, yada. So, would you hang out with your ex on a daily basis like Ted Mosby?
Daily basis.
He was hanging out. They were going to the bar every night. They were going, the friend group, their main thing was like, they would go to the bar every night. Yeah. They were real life friends.
Yeah.
So would you do that with
They even hung out by themselves.
They even hung out by themselves.
Yeah, just them.
Just them.
Just them. All right, I made a personal... I told myself this back in like middle school. I don't do second chances. I don't do... At least in regards to relationships.
Trey's rough, bro.
I'm realistic. So me personally, I can't, and I've actually been in situations where like my friends have been friends with like my exes, and unfortunately, even with those friends, like I ain't going front. Away, bro. It's just you're hanging out with someone I don't want to see no more. They're hanging out with someone that I don't know. You shared personal things with that. Like I just don't want you
around like that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get over you type.
I think of things that I don't want to think of when I see you. So I was just like, I'm not trying to put myself through all that, you know? Yeah. And it's unfortunate because like those are good friends, but like even because you're associated with them, it's like you
pull away because you know like, oh, okay, well if I hang out with them,
there's a high chance she's
gonna be there.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know what? Because of that, I ain't hanging out with nobody.
Unfortunately, I went through this like quite early in my college career, you know. So it's just I understand kind of like how that is a little bit, but you know, it is married couples that divorce kind of go through this. Any like large friend group that have like a major couple, they break up. It always fractures because people pick sides.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's just what it is at the end of the day. But me personally, nah, I can't handle seeing you. Either that, and I know in that show, like Barney also dated.
Barney also hit.
So it's like your friend, your one of your homies dating your girl, right?
That's essentially as if you got a girl, broke up with her, then I got with her.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't handle that. I can't handle that.
That's also, I'll say this. Barney's my favorite, but that's low key foul. I'm like, yo, bro. Like,
didn't he? But they did speak before. Like,
I think
they got permission. So he didn't go behind homie's back and do it.
But I don't think Ted in the moment though was still happy about it.
No, I don't think many people or many guys would be cool with at least a good friend. Like dating your ex. Nah, I wouldn't be.
And they all still hanging out. So like,
I
gotta watch you be all lovey-dovey with my ex. I ain't gonna lie,
I might lose both people at that point.
Facts. At that point, I ain't friends with nobody. At this point, I'm dolo, bro. We ain't cool. Yeah, facts. At this point, I'm making new friends.
Just get another friend group.
Yeah, it's like, yo, lose my number.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I do think I'm a little different than Trey.
You give second chances?
A little bit. Now, I'll say this: if you're my ex, I can't hang out with you on a daily. Like,
how often then? How often? You can't do it daily. I said not at all. So
I'm gonna be honest. We probably, you know what? I'm gonna say it probably depends on the ex, and I guess depends on maybe some of the situations we kind of, I guess, been through. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, 9 out of 10, we probably won't be hanging out like that. But I wouldn't mind maybe meeting up with you here and there.
Once a month?
I mean, sure. I guess if you had to put something.
So 12 times out the entire year?
Yeah, sure. But like 9 out of 10, it probably won't be that often. Unless I need her for something. Like, unless like I'm.
Yeah, I know you probably not going to hit her up. But what if she's hitting you up?
I mean, I'll text Shorty. Like, if Shorty texts me, I'll text her back. I ain't got no problem.
Okay, so you text her, you'll text her back. If she texts you to see you, though?
Depends how I'm feeling.
Depends how you're feeling. How are you feeling?
It would depend on...
Like, in the moment?
In the moment. Okay, maybe I would want to hang out with her. Maybe I wouldn't. But would I be doing it on a daily basis? No. 9 out of 10 if I'm doing it on a daily basis because I'm cracking.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't even do that, but fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't blame you.
And that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't keep in contact, because I know that'd probably take place.
Yeah, that's fair, but I would try to... There's a good chance that take place, but it will have to be one of those, like, we meet out. Like, for instance, I don't want to take a chance. I had a situation where I met up with my ex. So we broke up. We were broken up for... I'm going to be honest. I don't know how many months. We broke up in, like... This was some years ago. We broke up in, like, November. And then I ended up meeting back up with her in like June or whatever. So how many ever those months are. But I met her in a public place. So like we started talking and then she was like, oh, do you want to hang out? And a part of me was like, don't do it. But I was like, you know what, F it. So I hung out with her at like a park or whatever. So it was cool. Like it didn't really go that further. But later on, like a couple days later, she asked to like come over. She's like, hey, can I hang at your house or whatever? And I was like, at the time, I actually wasn't home, so I ain't lied to her. I was like, yeah, I'm not home right now. And then after that, we kind of just, like, I ain't really talked to her much. But it could lead to something if you allow it to lead to something. Yeah. Because if she's like, yo, let me come over to your house, you already know what that's going to lead to, just be like, nah, you can't come over. Yeah. We can meet in a public place, but in terms of you coming to my spot.
You got to nip it in the bud.
You already know what it is.
Way ahead of time,
yeah. So I don't think I'm as opposed to hanging out with exes. I mean... Depending on how our relationship was, if we're still cordial, if we're still cool, then yeah. But like, let's say, like for instance, like if she cheated on me, I probably wouldn't want to see you. I probably wouldn't want to hang out with you.
But like, let's say, depends on the severity of how you broke up.
Yeah. Like if she like cheated on me or like did something to try to ruin my reputation, I'm not going around you. But if it was like more of a mutual breakup per se, then I wouldn't mind meeting up with you here and there. Now, don't get me wrong. In the beginning, I need my time. So in the beginning, if she was like, yo, we could still hang out, I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Really?
Yeah, because I want to get time to...
Yeah, I guess I'm...
Like, in order for me to hang out with you, I kind of got to be over you. If I still like you, if there's still a semblance of... It's going to be hard for me to hang out with you.
That's fair.
Because either those feelings are gonna come back when I'm with you, and then I'm like,
feel good.
Exactly. Or I'm gonna try to take it further and be like, you know what, we did have so many good times and forget the negatives. Yeah. And now next thing you know, I'm in a certain situation I ain't really trying to be in. Yeah.
That's fair.
But I'm this way because of actually my father. My father basically was like, listen, even though they're your ex, don't burn the bridge. Like, still be cool with them. You don't have to talk to them. You don't got to do any of that. But just be cordial. So if she happened to see her in person, she said hello, but just be nice. If she happened to text you, you can have a little text conversation. Ain't got to be nothing crazy. He was like, just stay cordial with them because you never know what life entails or how life goes. So my mindset was more like you, and then I talked to my father, and then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just stay cordial with these females.
You know, that's fair. I just don't have that sense.
Listen. I understand. Like
I don't want to see you. I want to talk to you. I want to hear from you. Even if it is amicable, it could be amicable. Like we can,
like if I see you
like respectfully. Like we break up respectfully. Like both of us.
Like there's no.
I still don't ever want to see you again. Like I want to talk to you again. I don't want to associate with you. Like every woman that's ever come into my life and like I've dealt with, I never talk to them again. I just don't want to. And that's why I have to be very selective with who I date. Because, like, there are certain girls who, like, I'm like, yo, you're so cool. If I were to date you and break up with you, I can never talk to you again. So, like, I'm not gonna go there.
So far, actually, every girl I've messed with, I've talked to after.
Yeah, I can't.
I would say this: I've never hooked up. I've never got like back sexually with them. But
can't do that either.
Every single one, I've at least had like a text. But I would say this though: I ain't the one who would
initiate. So at least you're not the one who's running back. That's fair.
Because how I look at it is like, listen, either you chose to leave or I chose to leave or we both chose to leave. So because of that, it's just like, yo, there's no real need, you know. And at least for me personally, every breakup I've had, I still have feelings for them. Like it wasn't like I was completely like, I don't like you anymore. That's why I'm breaking up with you. It was more like you did some F things or maybe I did some F things. And because of that, we need to go our separate ways. But there was still like, you know, I guess you could say love for that person.
Yeah, I love them from a distance.
So I had no problem. Same, I would love them from a distance, but they've
talking to them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or
they've for me personally, they've all texted me again.
Yeah, you're better than me. I wouldn't.
It took a couple months.
You could text me, but I wouldn't have responded.
I'll respond, baby.
Like, there's no reason. I don't see a reason to. Like, I see it as like a wrong number texting me or like
I don't know who you are.
One of them scam calls.
The call.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's like I never have your number saved anyway. So.
Oh, I'm crying. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you are different than me. I'm still, they text me like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm doing good, baby. How you doing?
When problems try to come back into my life, I don't really let them come in.
I still. It's still. I ain't gonna say it's an open door policy with me, but baby, the door's cracked.
Well, ladies, you know what to do.
The door is cracked. Now,
you know what not to do with me, but you know what to do with Tyler at least.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be cordial with you. Now, are we gonna get back together? The chances are 9 out of 10. No, I haven't gotten back with any of my exes, so like, I still have that. I still have that, but
with the attitude, you might eventually do though. I believe you lead yourself. Now, I can't say for certain what you'll do. But I do believe you lead yourself open to
I think so.
By
you know what I think
door just being cracked.
You know what?
Because you have the door. So. You might not have the door open, but it is cracked.
Yeah, it's like that right there. It's
cracked.
Exactly. It's cracked. It ain't open. Y'all can't see, but the door cracked.
But it is cracked. Yeah. So just by that does give some girls hope. I don't give no girl hope. So like they ain't gonna bother with.
I want you to have hope.
Nah, I don't want you to have hope.
That's fair.
I don't want you to have
hope. I want you to still have hope.
Why do you want them to have hope?
I'm not sure if I should say this on the podcast.
All right, guys. We appreciate y'all coming to the show. Thank you for everything. You want to run through that?
Yo, I'm crying.
Might as well end it here.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That will stay to myself, but I still kind of like them to have hope. And you never know. Maybe you're right. I think maybe with some of my actions, there's a chance that I might get back with who knows. But I do also think this. You never know because there are stories out there of people who have dated, broken up, got back together, and now they're married X amount of years later.
Yeah, true.
So just because they're your ex doesn't mean they're not the right person for you. Could just be maybe wrong time. Now, this does not mean to go start running back to your ex, you know? Especially speaking to the boys out there. Like, bro, you're better off keeping...
right decision.
Yeah, you're better off like keeping your head down and just getting another girl. I'm not saying to run to your ex or anything like that. Focused. Yeah, exactly. But I do think it leaves an opportunity, but it's just, life is just how you play it.
All right, fair enough.
So, yeah, but with that being said, we're coming to the end of the show. Around this time, we give advice. Trey, you got any advice for the boys out there? Or ladies? Be
true to yourself, and if you don't feel like you're being treated the way you should, act accordingly. That's my advice.
That's fair. Mine is going to be kind to everybody.
Good advice.
I've been in like a couple of situations where like it's been like a group of us, and like we'll see somebody who's like a little odd or like a little weird. And I feel like a lot of people tend to treat like that odd person or that weird person like completely different. But I would say just be nice to everybody because you never know what that person might be going through. You never know what that person might be thinking. Low-key being nice to them could save your life. Hint, hint. You guys understand where I'm getting at. But essentially, listen, man, be kind to everybody. Be nice to everybody. At the end of the day, whether someone is weird or not, you truly don't know what someone has going on in their life. You only know
nothing to be kind, right?
Exactly. You only know what is happening right in front of you or what they allow themselves to show you. But a lot of people go through some things, man, that you have no idea that they're fighting, man. Some people are fighting real battles in the matter of their own homes and going through it by themselves. So just be kind to everybody. Be nice, be kind, be respectful. So that'll be my advice. Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate you guys tuning in.
For real.
Thank you guys so much. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe under this video. You could check out NOA Adventures. That is our vlog channel. Please check that out. A new vlog just dropped the other day. There are 2 new vlogs that dropped the other day. So please check that out on the vlog channel. You can also find us on Instagram. That's going to be NOA_podcast. You can find us on TikTok at NOA Podcast 1 and NOA Podcast 2. And of course, other than YouTube, we are available on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Once again, thank y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all. Y'all take care.
Have a good one.